Well, good afternoon. You know, Mary Pat asked me to come up here and speak, and I was privileged and honored to do so, and I thought it would be fun. And then she said, so you'll be closing the session, and you'll be following the mastermind panel of 8 of the most amazing people you have ever met. How were they? Were they incredible? They are my favorite people here. They are incredible, and they're smart, and they're wonderful. And then she said, and yeah, you've got a few minutes to basically give some life-changing advice to the entire audience. So thanks, Mary Pat. No pressure, right? No pressure on me whatsoever here to share these thoughts with you and to give these thoughts. And so I thought what I'd do is I'd just tell you a story. And I'd tell you a story of probably the best business advice that I have ever received in my life. And I got it a long time ago. Now, you're going to have to use your imagination with me. I want you to think of me when I was 20 years old. I know a lot of imagination, 20 years old, I'm fit, I'm in college. And at the time, I was really into a very popular sport at that time. Anybody remember racquetball? Yeah. Well, racquetball was this great sport that basically was like playing tennis in a cube. And I was so into it, and it was so popular at the time that all you had to do was show up at the racquetball court, and when you go to the racquetball court, there was always a whole bunch of people there who would play with you. So you just go whenever you wanted a good workout. So I went up there, and again, I'm young, I'm fit, I can't wait to play, and I'm walking up and down, and there's no one there. There's no one to play. And I was so bummed. I wanted a great workout. I wanted to play a good game. And I said, there was one guy. And this one guy was standing outside of one of the courts. And I didn't really want to play him. So I kind of walked past him and I walked past. And here's the reason. The reason I didn't want to play him is he was really old. I mean, remember now, I'm 20 years old, I'm fit, I'm in great shape, I'm the college guy, I'm confident, I'm ready to go. And this guy was really old, standing in front of the racquetball court. Let me tell you, he was probably over 50. I mean, really. And so I walked by about 2 or 3 times, and finally he kind of said, hey, you want to play? Oh man, I was brought up to respect my elders. I was brought up, oh, well, all right. This is going to be kind of embarrassing for the old guy, right? I mean, I'm a pretty good racquetball player. I'm going to be good. And, well, I'm sure he needs a workout. I'll go ahead and play with him. So we went in, and we started to play. And for about 45 minutes we played. And I'm going to tell you, I played the most amazing game I have ever played in my life. 3 games, actually. Played 3 games with him. I played the best I've ever played in my life. I mean, I was diving across the court. I was throwing my body around. I was doing amazing shots. It was phenomenal. And at the end of about 40 minutes, I am laying down on my back, absolutely exhausted, sweat. I mean, I'm just dying. And during that entire 40 minutes, I scored 3 points. 3 points. I was humiliated, absolutely destroyed by this old man. And he was kind enough to turn around and kind of look at me as I'm laying down on the floor in the court and said, do you mind me giving you a little advice? And I said, yeah, I think, yes, please. And he gave me 3 pieces of advice that I'm going to share with you now that I think are the absolute keys to business success. He says, number 1, find your position and stay in it. You see, what happened was he ended up taking the serve, and when he served, he stood in one spot. And for the entire time of that 40 minutes, when I was running from side to side of the court and doing everything, he maybe moved a total of 2 feet on each side, and that's it. Why? Because he found the right position. He found the right position, so while I'm running around like crazy, he just knew exactly where to be. And I think that's the best advice I can give to you in this travel business. How many of you sometimes feel like you're running around like crazy? You maybe feel like you're really good at what you're doing. You're really good, and you're playing hard, and you're making great shots, and you're doing good things. But when it's all over, you're laying down exhausted, and you didn't win. You didn't hit the numbers you wanted to hit. You didn't make the sales you wanted to make. In most cases, I believe it's because you never found your position. You never found where you really fit in this business. What is your specialty? What is your unique niche? What kind of customer do you want to work with? Find it, set it, be solid on it. And then the next thing he said, he goes, well, when you find your position, you're going to find that for the most part, the same thing's going to happen over and over again. In other words, you're going to have the same plays that are going to happen all the time. And the problem is, and most of the time, you're going to be so worried about the occasional really long shot that you're going to burn yourself out going after the kind of business that really isn't going to make you a lot of money. And instead, you should be focusing on the plays that you're going to use over and over. And in our business, that's what we would call the sales process. No matter what you do and whatever position you set yourself in, you're going to be talking to customers and talking to them about the fabulous cruise business, and for the most part, they're going to follow a pretty set pattern. So his advice really simply was, and my advice to you is, find what your pattern is and then get really good at it. Because sales takes a pattern. Now, not every shot's going to be exactly the same. Not every consumer is going to be the same. But if you're ready for it and you know what's coming, you're going to be confident and you're going to be ready. And he said, no, here's the last one. He said, but then, even though you know the kind of plays that you're going to use, and even though you were in a great position, the only thing that's going to make you a great racquetball player is practice. Practice. There's no easier way to say it. He said, you just got to come in here. And he goes, do you know that I've been here for 2 hours before I played this game with you? And he said, for the first hour, I took one shot over and over and over again until I was phenomenally good at that shot. And the second hour, I took this shot for an hour. It was really boring. But do you know how much fun it was to beat the crap out of a young kid? It's because I practiced. Another way to say that, and we've all heard this if you've been in sports, and I love that Donder talked about sports because I think we can learn so much from it, but even if you weren't in sports, you can equate this to the music side of business or the music world or anything else. It comes down to doing the drills. That you have to continually do the drills. And let me tell you something, the drills aren't any fun. But great piano players still do what? The scales every day. They practice, they do the drills every day. My question to you is, what are your drills? What are you doing every day when you wake up and say, how am I going to be a better travel agent? How am I going to be better at what I do? And what can I practice to get better at? I will say, and unfortunately it's true, that in most cases we don't even know what our drills should be in this business. Your drills need to be, what do you sound like when you answer the phone? What kind of message are you going to leave when you leave a message to most people that you call back? What's it going to sound like? How are you going to make it even better? And each day practice that. And when you're in the middle of a conversation and you talk about qualifying, do you know without a question the exact 30 questions that you should ask that customer so that you know without a doubt exactly the right cruise to put that customer on? Are those 30 questions set in your mind because you practiced? You've got to do the drills. I'll close with this last thought. I was blessed to have 3 daughters, and all 3 of my girls played soccer. And I coached them all the way along. And there was one thing that was unbelievably consistent when I was a coach and coaching my girls. And all these kids would always come around. We'd have our practices, right? You show up to practice, and as soon as I'd get there, I'd tell them what we're going to do that day. I'd get around and say, no, here's what we're going to do, girls. We're going to start with some stretching. Then we're going to run 3 laps around. And then we're going to come in. Then I'm going to have you come over here. We're going to shoot goals after a while. Then we're going to do a passing drill back and forth. And while I'm saying this, what do you think all of the girls, without exception, would then say? Coach, can't we just play? We just want to play. We don't want to do the drills and run and do this other stuff. We just want to play. And unfortunately, I think in many ways, as much as we all love this industry and as sexy as this industry is, many of us come in here and we just want to play. We just want to play travel. I can talk about travel. It's so fun. And yes, you can. It is a fun business. It's exciting. It's wonderful. But here's the deal, gang. You have to practice and do the drills to be great. Remember, the enemy of great, in the great words of Jim Collins, is good. There's a lot of good players, a lot of good travel agents. You want to be a great travel agent? Do the drills. God bless. Enjoy the rest of the conference. Thanks, everyone.